Hey everybody! Welcome to Learning Sunday, where every Sunday we learn something together. This week I've decided to teach you guys the basics of American football because the Pro Bowl is today and the Super Bowl is next Sunday. So you have a week to learn what in the world American football is. And I keep saying American football because football to every single other country in the world is this sport. But for some reason, America was like, no, we're renaming that soccer and creating another game and stealing the name of that game and calling it football. So, let's learn the basics of American football. Shall we? Let's begin. Okay, now the object of this game is to get as many points as possible, which is normal in all other sports except golf. What do you do in golf? Now you do this by either getting a touchdown, a field goal, an extra point, and a safety. I will explain all of those things. But first, let's talk about who's on the field. In one game, it's two teams playing against each other. Now, in each of those teams, there are different sections. There's the offense, the defense, and the special teams. The offense is trying to get the football into the touchdown area. The defense is trying to stop the team from doing that. And the special teams is basically whenever there's a kicker on the field, like they're gonna do a kickoff or they're trying to do a field goal or an extra point, that's the special team. They come out on the field. All right, now how you move the ball down the field is by moving it down the field. You can either throw it, so there's a quarterback, pretty sure you guys know that one. There's a quarterback who throws the ball to a receiver, or the quarterback gets the ball and then hands it to a running back, and then that person can run the ball. You can only throw it forward once, and then once it's thrown forward, it can be thrown backwards, or it just you keep running with it. But it can't be thrown forward twice in the same play. Does that make sense? So at the beginning of every play, you'll see the offensive line up, and you'll see the quarterback, and he'll be like, blah, 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 lots of numbers, I'm yelling things, I'm gonna point to things, and hike, and then the ball gets hiked. The center of the offensive line hikes the ball, meaning he shoots it through his legs, and the quarterback catches it, and then he either hands it to a running back to run the ball away, or he can run the ball himself, or he throws it to someone. Now, that's the goal. They have these plays and that's the goal, but the defense can completely destroy those plans. Football's confusing. I didn't even realize it till I started explaining it. Okay, these are just the basics, so we're just gonna go basics. Okay, so offense, defense. Okay, now a touchdown is worth 6 points. Now this is when the offensive team gets the ball. Well, it can be the defensive team too, because if they catch an interception and then run down the field and get into the end zone, that too is a touchdown. A touchdown is when you get the ball into the touchdown place. You can either run it in, and when you run it in, the ball just has to cross the line of the touchdown thing, or you can throw it in, and if you catch it in the end zone, both of your feet have to touch the ground inside the end zone before it to be considered a touchdown. So if you catch the ball in the end zone, but only one foot is inside and the other foot steps out, not a touchdown. Both feet have to touch the end zone when you catch it in order for it to count. So you can catch it, and then even if the ball is in the end zone but you go flying out and your feet never touch the ground, it's not a touchdown. Your feet have to touch the ground, both feet. And then once you've made a touchdown, you have a chance to kick a field goal for 1 extra point, or try and make it into the end zone again for 2 points. These are called extra points. Usually you just do a field goal because it's pretty easy. The kicking team comes out, they kick the field goal, whee! That's pretty easy, 1 extra point. But when you're in a crunch and it's like the end of the game and you just need 2 more points to win, you usually try for the 2-point conversion and you throw it or run it into the end zone again. Okay, now I'm gonna try and explain this the best I can. There are downs. So each try is called a down. First down, second down, third down, fourth down. A football field is 100 yards. You have to get the ball 10 yards, and if you don't get the ball 10 yards in 4 tries, then the other team gets the ball and then they get to try. So if you get the ball and you throw it and then the person goes 3 yards and then gets tackled, you still have 7 more yards to go. So you have 3 more chances to get that 7 more yards. And then if you get 2 more yards, you have 2 more chances to get 5 more yards. And you just keep going until you get over the yellow line. The football people are nice and give you a line to let you know where they have to get over for it to be a new set of downs. Does that make sense? Now it doesn't start on the 1-yard line. What happens is kicking team kicks it to the receiving team, and then they get the ball, and then they either have to run or they just put their knee down on the ground being like, I don't want to get tackled right now, but so this is where I'm staying. Or if they catch it in the end zone and they take a knee, then the ball starts on the 20-yard line. Did any of that make sense? Let's hope so. So each possession, You get 4 tries to get 10 yards. If you get those 10 yards or more, then you start again from there to get 10 more yards. Does that make sense? And then usually if a team keeps failing and they haven't gained any yards and it's 4th down, they're most likely going to punt the ball over to the other side of the field for the other team to start from there. So let's say you're trying to get it to this end zone and this is the other team's end zone and you're stuck right here and you can't get the ball over there. You're on your 4th down, you haven't gained any yards. You're like, well, I don't want to just hand them the ball over from right here because they are right next to their end zone. So they're gonna punt it to the other side, and then the receiving team catches it, and then they either try and run it or they just take a knee. They do multiple things. But if it's like 30 seconds on the clock and the team is down by 1 touchdown, they're gonna try on that 4th down to get it, but otherwise they're just gonna punt it in just a normal game manner. There are 4 quarters. Each quarter is 15 minutes, and then there's a halftime in the middle, and that's a 12-minute halftime. And then each team has 3 timeouts per half. So in the first half, each team has 3 timeouts. In the second half, it restarts and each team has 3 timeouts again. Touchdowns are the main objective because you get the most points for that. You get 6 points and then you can kick a field goal for that extra point or do another throw or run in for an extra 2 points. But there are field goals. Now this is if the offensive team is within 40 yards of the field goal and they're on 4th down and they're like, we can't make it that 10 extra yards for a new set of downs, but we're close enough where we can kick the ball through the yellow post things, so let's do that. So if a team kicks the ball through the yellow post things without it being connected to a touchdown, it's worth 3 points. And then a safety. Now this one doesn't happen that often, but let's say a team's starting out and on this end of the field and they're trying to make it to this end of the field, and so they're starting out here, and if their quarterback gets sacked or a running back gets tackled and they're standing in this end zone, but they're trying to be in this end zone, that's called a safety, and it's worth 2 points for the defensive team. There are rules. You're not allowed to grab people's face masks. That's called a face mask, and it is illegal. There's things called roughing the passer, or if you tackle the quarterback too hard or too far after they've already thrown the ball, it's roughing the passer. That's a penalty. There's no holding, meaning you're not allowed to grab the person. You're only supposed to like push them from here. A pass interference is when a receiver is going to catch the ball and the person guarding them makes it impossible for them to have been able to catch that ball. And if they hadn't grabbed them or pushed them or shoved them, they would have caught the ball. But since they did that, that's illegal. It's pass interference, and the ball gets placed from wherever that foul happened. Meaning you don't even have to catch it for it to move if the person defending you illegally held you or something, making it so you couldn't catch the ball. Defense can score if they intercept the ball or a fumble happens, meaning someone has caught the ball or has the ball and they're moving and the ball gets knocked out of their hands before their knee or elbow hits the ground, then that's called a fumble, and it can be retrieved by any of the people on the field can pick it back up, and whoever has the ball at the end gets it. So I guess I should explain what being down means. It's when you get tackled, but your knee or your elbow has to hit the ground for you to be considered down. So you can jump over people or you can put your hand on the ground, but as long as your knee or elbow don't hit the ground, you're still in play. So if someone gets tackled and the knee hits the ground and then the ball goes out, it's not a fumble because they were down first. A fumble has to happen when it gets out of someone's hand before they are fully down. All right, I think that's it. I think I've covered everything. I mean, for the basics, there's so much more into it, but basically it's 2 teams fighting to get to their end zone to get the most points or their field goal. You can run the ball, you can throw the ball. There are more complicated things I could explain, like a pick 6 and things like that, but I don't think you guys will need to know that. This is just to get you ready for Super Bowl Sunday, which is in 1 week, just so you guys know. Football games usually last about 3 hours. I know there's only 4 sections of 15 minutes, which in your brain, you're like, that's an hour. Nope, it usually lasts about 3 hours, so get ready! Okay, and yes, I'm very aware that the Rams are not in the Super Bowl. I just wanted to wear my football shirt for this video. All right, tweet me, Instagram me, comment below, Facebook me, other things you'd like to learn about. I would love teaching you guys. I love you guys a lot, and remember, above all else, stay awesome, possums.